Hello and welcome guys to another lesson. In this video we are going to talk about MCQs and listening module. We are going to explore some examples and we are going to see exactly how we can solve such questions. So let's dive into our lesson and see what it has to offer. First of all, MCQs are a short form for multiple choice questions. It means that you will get questions that have choices to actually elect or select an answer from many of the choices that has been there for you. For example, before starting the first question, we are seeing an instruction above which says choose the correct letter A, B, or C. It means that we are supposed to choose only one character or one option out of the three options that has been given for us in each question. So what we are going to do, as we did in the last video as well, I'm going to solve the first question for you, and then I will give you some time and I will play the recording as well for you to actually answer the second question. It's the 11th and 12th question of the exact same test. It means that you will be expecting multiple choice questions basically on the second section of your test. Let's read the question first because we will have some time to read the question before the recording has played, so we can mark some keywords that we're going to look for when we are hearing the recording. Stevenson's was founded in. It means that if something has been founded, it means it's either a company or an organization or institution. Stevenson's was founded in. We are going to look for founded, officially founded. Founded is our keyword and we have to look for either 1923, 1924 or 1926. Let's see which question the recording refers to, and we are going to talk about it in a minute. So I'm going to play the recording for you guys and you have to hear it correctly, and then I'll tell you the answer.
Good morning everyone and welcome to Stevenson's, one of the country's major manufacturers of metal goods. Thank you for choosing us for your 2 weeks of work experience. My name is Julia Simmons and since the beginning of this year I've been the managing director. Stevenson's is quite an old company. Like me, the founder, Ronald Stevenson, went into the steel industry when he left school. That was in 1923. He set up this company when he finished his apprenticeship in 1926, although he actually started making plans 2 years earlier in 1924. He was a very determined young man.
Okay guys, as you heard the recording, let's play and see what was the answer. Okay, 11 was C. It means that Stevenson's was founded in 1926. It mentioned all the other options as well. 1923 was also mentioned in the recording. 1924 was also mentioned in the recording. But there was a twist. They were not saying that Stevenson's was founded in 1923. It said that it thought about it or thought of such a company in 1923, and then in 1924 he did something else. But in 1926 he officially, formally founded and established Stevenson's. So I will give you some time in order to see what you can capture from this question and its answers also, and then I'm going to play the recording, and by hearing that recording you have to choose a correct answer with yourself. Then we are going to reveal the answer, and if the answer is correct, it means that you have gotten it straight ahead.
Stevenson's long-term plan was to manufacture components for the machine tools industry, although in fact that never came about, and for the automotive industry, that is cars and lorries. However, there was a delay of 5 years before that happened because shortly before the company went into production, Stevenson was given the opportunity to make goods for hospitals and other players in the healthcare industry. So that's what we did for the first 5 years.
Alright guys, as you heard in the recording, let's play the answer. What was the answer? Let's see. Okay, 12th answer was A. A is our correct answer. So the healthcare industry. Although you heard automotive industry, machine tools industry as well in the recording, but Stevenson's originally manufactured good for healthcare industries. Originally, they were involved in automotive or machine tools, not straightforward but sideways, but they were originally manufacturing or producing goods for healthcare industry only. So that's the type of questions that you are going to expect in multiple choice questions, MCQs. You're going to receive some options and a question. You will have some time to think about the question and to mark any keywords for yourself in order to look for when you are hearing the recording, and considering that keyword you will find your answer. So more important for you is to actually read the answer beforehand and read the question as well and mark as a keyword for yourself, as we marked founded in the first question, and originally, as you may have marked it for yourself. Originally was another keyword that you're going to look for when we want to find the answer. So that's basically how we solve MCQs. MCQs are not that much tough or challenging in listening module, and if you consider this tip or this trick that I've told you now, it will be easy as a cake. It will be a piece of cake for you. But although it's easy, but you have to practice it as much as possible. So the task for you at home is to actually bring out your academic books, bring out your IELTS books, and also find out as many MCQs as you can, and hear the recordings and try to solve it as quickly as you can. If you want to get access into the recordings, it's very simple. You have to enter the title of the test on YouTube, either on YouTube or on Chrome, and you will find its recording for about 30 minutes or 20 minutes. If you're looking for a specific section, it would be around 6 or 7 minutes. But usually there are 30 to 29 minutes of recording, which is the full test. But you're going to look for the recording which is related to your MCQs. You have to solve at least 6 to 8 sections of MCQs, and when you found yourself easy enough to find out any kind of answers, to face any kind of challenge in MCQs, then you will be ready enough. We'll meet in the next video, and we are going to talk about the other types of listening module that we are going to cover. First of all, as we discussed in single MCQs as well, we are going to read the question carefully. We are going to mark some keywords for ourselves as well in order to be more comfortable while we are hearing the recording, and we are gonna see the answers as well, because answers are a little bit lengthy and we have to check them one by one, and we have to extract some kind of keywords or an overview of the option for us. So whether we have a mention of that option, we have to look for it. Which two parts of the introductory stage to their art projects do Jess and Tom agree were useful? First of all, it should be introductory stage, the stage that we introduce everything, the first stage initially, and the project should be art project. Okay, the project should be art project, and Jess and Tom should both agree, because it's mentioned and means both of them should agree. They should have the same opinion, were useful. Which two sections of their introductory stage of art projects were useful? we have to find two things that they say, okay, it is useful. They would say some parts that are not useful. One would agree that it's useful, the other one will not agree it's useful, but our requirement is that they should both agree that that introductory stage of our project is valuable and it's useful. So now I'm going to play the recording. You are going to hear the recording, and if you have a pen or paper with yourself, you can also mark your estimated answers, and then we are going to talk about the answers and which are the answers.
How are you getting on with your art project, Tom?
Okay. Like, they gave us the theme of birds to base our project on, and I'm not really all that interested in wildlife, but I'm starting to get into it. I've pretty well finished the introductory stage.
So have I. When they gave us all those handouts with details of books and websites to look at, I was really put off. But the more I read, the more interested I got.
Me too. I found I could research so many different aspects of birds in art. Colour, movement, texture. So I was looking forward to the bird park visit.
What a letdown. It poured with rain and we hardly saw a single bird. Much less use than the trip to the Natural History Museum.
Yeah. I liked all the stuff about evolution there. The workshop sessions with Dr. Fletcher were good too, especially the brainstorming sessions.
I missed those because I was ill. I wish we could have seen the projects last year's students did.
I suppose they want us to do our own thing, not copy.
Alright, as you heard the recording, let's now reveal the answers. I hope you've got the right answers as well. So let's reveal it. First option is 11th, and from 11th question, first option is C, and second option is E. It means the first answer for us is C, and the second answer is E. It might shock some of you because some of you might have chosen incorrect answers, both of them are incorrect or just one of them incorrect. But you gotta see that it's a little bit tricky because we have more than 4 or 5 options here with us, and we have to check on all of them. All of them will be mentioned in the recording somewhere, in some place, in some time it will be mentioned, and we have to focus only on those options that we hear that Jess and Tom has agreed that those options are useful, or those introductory stages are useful. So the bird park was mentioned, the workshop sessions were mentioned, natural history, projects, and handouts also were mentioned. But in the Natural History Museum visit, they both agreed that it is useful for our introductory stage. And in handouts with research sources also, they agreed, both of them agreed, that it is useful. So we have to keep in mind that when we are facing double MCQs, we have to mark a keyword for ourselves. We have to read the options if the options are a little bit lengthy, if they are not words, they are phrases. So we have to explore the options as well. We have to mark some keywords as well. For example, in here we had to mention museums as a keyword for ourselves, that whenever we heard museum, we had to focus on the third option, which is option C, the Natural History Museum visit. Is it useful? We had to hear for is it useful or not for both of them. And workshops also. Workshops is another thing that we had to mark as our keyword. Bird park. And projects. And research or handouts, both of them are keywords here. Handouts and research. So that's how we are going to solve double MCQs. We have to hear them correctly, we have to mark keywords, we have to read them in advance, so make sure to use the time that would be given to you to review your questions, and do not waste it while focusing on just one section or one question. Try to review at least as many questions as you can. Okay, in this slide we have another example of double MCQs. I will give you some time to read the answers, you can actually stop the video and read the answer and read the options, read the question, try to mark a keyword for yourself, and then I will play the recording. I will not tell you to do anything. You have to do everything as I have told you before, the instructions that I gave before, and then I will reveal the answers and you'll see if you've gotten it correct or not.
Have you drafted your proposal yet?
Yes, but I haven't handed it in. I need to amend some parts. I've realised the notes from my research are almost all just descriptions. I haven't actually evaluated anything, so I'll have to fix that.
Oh, I didn't know we had to do that. I'll have to look at that too. Did you do a timeline for the project?
Yes, and a mind map.
Yeah, so did I. I quite enjoyed that. But it was hard having to explain the basis for my decisions in my action plan.
What?
You know, give a rationale.
I didn't realise we had to do that. OK, I can add it now. And I've done the video diary presentation and worked out what I want my outcome to be in the project.
Someone told me it's best not to be too precise about your actual outcome at this stage, so you have more scope to explore your ideas later on. So I'm going to go back to my proposal to make it a bit more vague.
Really? OK, I'll change that too then.
Alright, now let's see what you've got and if your answers are correct or not. So the answers are B and E. B and E. Okay, B and E. What was the question? Let's read the question first. In which two ways do both Jesse, both of them, not just one, but both of them, Jess and Tom, decide to change their proposal? Okay, which ways do they want to change their proposal? Both of them. By giving a rationale for their action plans, by being less specific about the outcome, by adding a video diary presentation, by providing a timeline and a mind map, by making their notes more evaluative. As you've heard in the recording as well, they have mentioned all of the options. They have mentioned rationale, they have mentioned specification and their outcome, they have mentioned video diaries, they have mentioned timelines and mind maps, they have mentioned notes, or should be more evaluative or not. So these two sections must be changed. Other sections can stay the same. Being less specific should change. They should be more specific to their proposal, and making their notes more evaluative. It should be changed. It should not be more evaluative. It should be concise. So that's what we were looking for. And in double MCQs, as I've told you before, most of the options, or at least all of the options, would be mentioned. So you have to go through all the options, you have to mark keywords for yourself, and whenever you heard that those keywords are not being mentioned, you have to strike through that option and mark it as incorrect. You may be suspicious on some options. You may think that this option may be correct, maybe this option is correct, maybe it's not correct. You have to put a dash besides it. It means that you're not sure about it. If you wouldn't be able to find any other answer, then that's likely to be your answer. But if you're seeing a straight away no, a straight away opposite answer from that in which are in your options, so you have to strike through your options to make sure that you are cutting off the options for yourself, you're narrowing it down, and you're getting near to your answers. Try to practice double MCQs as much as possible, although you will not be facing a lot of double MCQs in your exam, but at least 4 questions will be double MCQs, that's for sure. 4 questions will be from double MCQs. So keep in mind the things that I've told you and practice at least 6 to 8 sections of double MCQs in your academic or general training books, whichever books you have or whichever exam you want to give, and try to be more specific and try to be more concise while you're choosing your keywords and while you're hearing the recording as well. Hello guys, in this video we're going to cover maps. and we're going to exactly see how we can solve the maps, or how many types of maps we can expect, and we will use some examples to clarify our methods for solving maps. As you can see in this example, this has been taken from the book itself. It says, as the instruction above, write the correct letter A to G next to questions 15 to 20. So we have to choose from letter A to letter letter A to letter J, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So we have to examine the map a little bit before starting anything else, okay? We have to mark some of the most important things in the map. First of all, we're going to see if we have north, east, west, south option anywhere around our map. Mostly we will have it left to the map or right to the map. We will have a small map of arrows that's pointing to north, east, west, and south. That exactly tells us that in the recording we are expecting directions as the north, east, west, south. We will expect the directions like that. But if we don't have those arrows besides our maps, it means that the directions will be left or right. We have two types of direction: left, right, or north, east, west, south. So we don't have north, east, west, south here, so it's likely that the recording will start by directing us into these rooms, which are marked as letters of alphabet, and we are going to find exactly where each room lies, considering the directions of left and right that would be given to us in the recording. Firstly, we are going to see what access road is. Access road has a 3 here, as we can see. Access road has a 3 here, and these double mirrors on both sides. There is reception here. Firstly, we are going to find the entrance. The entrance either may be from the reception or from the room number C, from the letter room C. We have two entrances. The recording either is going to start from this room or from reception. And also we have open courtyard here. If someone is standing here, so they have two ways to go. They can either go to the factory or these rooms, or they can go, actually they have 3 ways to go. They can also use open courtyard to access these rooms and these rooms as well. On the other side we have main road here, and some other trees around here, and a factory which is a little bit bigger than the other rooms. So I'm going to play the recording for you. First of all, we are going to see where coffee room is. Once we find the coffee room, then I'm going to give you the instructions, and then I'm going to talk about that, and then I'll give you the recording and some time to find warehouse and staff canteen.
Help you to orientate yourselves around the site. As you can see, we're in the reception area, which we try to make attractive and welcoming to visitors. There's a corridor running left from here, and if you go along that, the door facing you at the end is the entrance to the coffee room. This looks out onto the main road on one side and some trees on the other, and that'll be where you meet each morning.
So as we heard in the recording, first of all, let's reveal the answer where coffee room is. H. So it means coffee room is here. So it means that coffee room is the room number H. The room H. Sorry, room H is coffee room. As we expected, the directions were left to right. The directions were not north, east, west, south. If it were then we would have something besides our map. Okay. As we discussed in the recording, she said that the man's standing in the reception area and they have a corridor on their left. Okay, a corridor on their left is this side. There is a corridor over right and there is a corridor over left. So he said that you have to go to the corridor that is left of you and the door which is heading you, the door which is in front of you, and the door which corridor ends and you find it in front of you, you will find the coffee room there, and that's the area that you will meet each and every day with everyone. So from that we figured out that room H should be coffee room. That's how we can find maps, how we can find places on maps, and how we can solve this question type. I'm going to play the recording again, the next recording, not this recording, the recording which states where warehouse is, where staff canteen is. So considering that, you have to focus on the recording. You have to see where these two places are, and you have to write it down, and then if we reveal the answer, you're gonna see if you have found it or not.
The factory is the very big room on the far side of the site. Next to it is the warehouse, which can be accessed by lorries going up the road to the turning area at the end. You can get to the warehouse by crossing to the far side of the courtyard, and then the door is on your right. Somewhere you'll be keen to find is the staff canteen. This is right next to reception. I can confidently say that the food's very good, but the view isn't. The windows on one side look onto a corridor and courtyard, which aren't very attractive at all, and on the other onto the access road, which isn't much better.
Okay, so now it's time to reveal the answers. Let's see if you have got it correct or not. 12, okay? 12 not, sorry, 16. Warehouse is C. Warehouse is C. So it means the warehouse is located here. And, okay, staff canteen is G. So it means the staff canteen is located here. As you heard on the recording, they said that on the factory side we can find the warehouse, and it's on one side to the access road, So we already knew that G is the coffee room, and the other room which is on the side of access road is room C. So these were our answers. C was where warehouse were located. G is where staff canteen is located. And according to the instruction that was given to us in the recording, C is the warehouse and G is the staff canteen. So that's how we are going to solve all the problems and all the challenges that we receive in this question type. And you have to practice it a lot. It requires a lot of practice, and also you have to practice those maps with north, east, west instructions. Those maps are a little bit easier than this, because you will see that north is going that way and south is going that way, because most of the people get it wrong. They think that east is on that side and west is on another side, which is not correct. So they are giving the instructions and the direction types besides your maps, so you don't have to worry about that. And before the recording starts, you would have some time to review the map. So that's what you do. You will find the entrance. You will find some of the known places, like we found here in the map. Factory is the known places. That's how we can find our other rooms. Open courtyard is our places. that has names: reception, access road, main road, and also some trees on the other side. Okay, by the help of these trees we were able to find we were able to find coffee room, and by the help of access road we were able to find the other two options, which were warehouse and staff canteen. So these hints would help us a lot. Try to pay attention on them, and when the recording starts, try to have focus and don't get distracted, because once you know the answers has passed, and you can't do anything about it. So you have to be focused, and you have to be persistent. You have to practice a lot. Once you start practicing, you have to practice at least 4 to 5 maps if you can find them on your books. As much maps as you can find, you have to practice. Alright guys, let's do flowchart as well, because flowcharts are rare to find in your IELTS books. So I will do this one. If you are able to find any other flowchart, do that as well and practice that as well. And as per se, these full flowcharts are not that much difficult. They are somewhere similar to blanks, so you don't have to worry about them a lot. When you practice blanks, you'll be able to answer them if you don't practice at all, if you don't find any tests to practice on. So if you go with blanks, you can do this as well, no problem. So first of all, what we are going to do in flowcharts is we are going to see what our title is. Our title is assignment plan. Okay, assignment plans. The other title is research question. This is a subtitle. And the third subtitle is sample, and the fourth one is procedure. Why I'm marking this, why I'm highlighting this? Because at different parts of the recording, these titles are going to be mentioned either straight away, or the synonyms of these titles will be mentioned, and that would tell you that the recording has reached here. So by highlighting these parts and by selecting these parts, we can examine where the recording has reached, and if our answer is near, or if the recording has passed from our answer and we have to focus on another answer which is going to come on the recording. So these are hints that has been given for us, so we have to highlight them and we have to focus on them as well. First of all, in our first subtitle, which are research questions, is there a relationship between hours of sleep and number of dreams? As you can see, we don't have anything in this section. So if they mention research questions, don't worry about that. If they say anything, then you have to wait for samples. Okay, and also 12 students from the department. Some of the department's name will be mentioned, I think. And then the procedure. Answers on, they might have taken some test or something from these students, and the answers would be written on some kind of a system. So we have to wait for that. First of all, I'm going to play the first recording, and we are going to see which answer lies here, and then after that I'm going to explain some of the things to you, and I'm going to play the second recording, and you have to listen to the recording and mark or write any answer that you might think is correct. So let's go for the recording.
Shall we plan what we have to do for this assignment?
Okay.
First, we have to decide on our research question. So, how about, is there a relationship between hours of sleep and number of dreams?
Okay. Then we need to think about who we'll do the study on. About 12 people?
Right. And shall we use other psychology students?
Let's use people from a different department. What about history?
Yes, they might have interesting dreams. Or literature students.
I don't really know any.
Okay, forget that idea.
Alright, as you heard in the recording, they said about 12 students, and they said that we will choose from our department. They didn't mention what their department was, and they said one of them said that we will take from history department, and the second one said that we will take from literature department, and the other one disagreed with her, so the history remained, history department. And I think the answer is history department, yes. So that's how you can find them. These are pretty much similar to blanks, as I've told you before. So try to highlight the keywords that you might think could be mentioned on the recording. And if you can find keywords that are not changeable, for example, the articles, the prepositions, some of the interjections that would be mentioned here or not, you have to mark them. And also some of the keywords that are proper nouns that can be changed, okay, because proper nouns are specific nouns. So you have to find keywords, you have to highlight them, and you have to wait if they are mentioned in the recording, and according to that you have to wait for your answer, and you will get your answer right. Now let's hear the second recording and see what's placed in here.
Then we have to think about our methodology. So we could use observation, but that doesn't seem appropriate.
No. It needs to be self-reporting, I think. And we could ask them to answer questions online.
But in this case, paper might be better, as they'll be doing it straight after they wake up. In fact, while they're still half asleep.
Right.
Okay, let's reveal the answer now. I think you might have gotten it correct. Paper, yes. They said they didn't actually mention the procedure that much clear. They said that how they would write their answers, on what thing they would write their answers. So one of them said that they would write their answers on paper. So this is how we will solve a flowchart. Besides flowchart, if you can find any flowcharts to practice, you have to practice as much as maps as you can, because maps are a little bit challenging. There are some maps that would not be easy to solve, so you have to practice a lot of maps in order to make it easier for yourself. If any maps would come into your exam, you would be able to solve it quickly. Alright, so we are heading to matchings, and we are going to explore what matchings are in terms of listening module, and we are going to see and we are going to solve some similar examples, and you will also be participating in this, and you will also be answering some questions on the other side as well. So what are matchings? Matchings are simply phrases that has been torn apart, and half of the sentence have been placed somewhere else, half of the sentence has been placed in another place, and we have to match them with the correct option. Or sometimes it's not a sentence. You will have a word, and there will be definitions to that word according to the speaker, and then we have to choose if this definition really defines what words have been written there. And something similar we are seeing here, as we are seeing pictures and you're seeing personal meanings. What personal meanings these pictures actually provide for the speakers? What personal meanings do they show? So first of all, the picture is falcon, that has been painted by Lancier. The second picture is fishhawk, that has been painted by Audubon. The third picture is kingfisher, which has been painted by Van Gogh. So we are going to explore all of that, but before that we have to actually focus on personal meanings in this side. As we can see here in personal meanings section, although we have 3 questions here, but we have 5 answers here. So 2 of those answers would be traps, and it would be mentioned in our answers, but we don't have to choose them because the correct option might be something else. So 3 options are the correct options, and 2 options are traps that has been set for us in order to make us confuse us on choosing the wrong answer. First answer is a childhood memory, a memory of a childhood. Hope for the future. Second meaning is hope. Does they represent hope in any case? Fast movement or fast motion or something else. Rapid movement, fast movement, and all of these. Potential threat. Does they possess some kind of threat or a danger to something? Power of color. Okay, colors. They will be talking about colors. So if they are talking about colors, we have to be very specific in this section, and we have to see if they are really talking about this or not. So I'm going to play the first question for you, the falcon question, and then we are going to see which one is the answer, and after that I will be playing the rest 2 questions, fish, hawk, and kingfisher, and then you are going to actually take notes, and you are going to see which one is the correct answer and mark it in your notebooks or in your sticky notes or something that you have with yourself. And then we are going to reveal the answers and talk about the answers, and if you have made any mistakes, we're going to talk about that as well.
One part of the project I'm unsure about is where we choose some paintings of birds and say what they mean to us. Like, I chose a painting of a falcon by Landseer. I like it because the bird's standing there with his head turned to one side, but he seems to be staring straight at you. But I can't just say it's a bit scary, can I?
You could talk about the possible danger suggested by the bird's look.
Oh, okay.
Okay guys, now let's reveal the first answer. What was the first answer here? D was the first answer. So it was talking about a potential threat. But if you have focused on the recording, you will have observed that first she talked about the eyes of that falcon, the eye movement of that falcon. So if you had the keywords marked for yourself, you would have checked eye. Okay, eyes are not mentioned in any option, so maybe it's not correct. So we will wait up for the rest of the answer. Then he talked about the potential danger. He didn't say threat, he said danger, so he was not actually telling you threat. They will change it a little bit. They will not give you the answer straight away. They will tie the answer into some knots that it will become a little bit difficult for you to actually focus on. So he said that we can talk about its potential danger. So she said that it's correct. Okay, we'll talk about this. Now you have to strike through the 4th answer because it will not be around your options. So you have 2 answers and 4 possible options, E, C, B, A. You have to listen to the recording, and then we will see if it's true or not, if some of the answers are traps or not.
There's a picture of a fishhawk by Audubon I like. It's swooping over the water with a fish in its talons and with great black wings which take up most of the picture.
So you could discuss it in relation to predators and food chains?
Well, actually, I think I'll concentrate on the impression of rapid motion it gives.
Right.
Do you know that picture of a kingfisher by Van Gogh? It's perching on a reed growing near a stream.
Yes, it's got these beautiful blue and red and black shades.
I've actually chosen it because I saw a real kingfisher once when I was little. I was out walking with my grandfather, and I've never forgotten it.
Oh, so we can use a personal link?
Sure.
Okay.
Alright, let's reveal the answers now and see if you've gotten it right or not. What was the 25th 26th answer. Sorry, the numbers are being written wrong. No worries about that. Fish hawk 26th Audubon. It's C. Okay, it talks about fast movement. If you have focused on the recording, it didn't say fast movement. It said rapid. Fast synonym is rapid. Movements. Rapid is movements. Sorry, movement synonym is motion. She said that we can talk about its rapid motion. Then he said that is correct. Okay, we will talk about this. And then the third and the last answer, what was it? It was A childhood memory. So in this answer, you might have observed a potential setup for yourself, because they were talking about option E. They were talking about different colors, gray or shades or different shades. They were actually talking about colors. And then in the second part, they changed it, and she said that, okay, it reminds me of my childhood with my grandfather when we were doing something like that. She talked about her childhood. She talked about her childhood. So then the man said to him that, okay, you can mention it as a personal meaning for yourself. You can mention it as a memory for yourself. But first, they were talking about colors. So this was a trap that had been sent for us. And hope for the future option, I think it wasn't mentioned in any of the recordings, but it was set there for us. So some of these options would be traps for us in order to confuse us about the actual answer. And if we get distracted for even a second from the recording, we might get the answers wrong. So the focus here should be on the recording, and should be to not get distracted, not crumble around anything else. You have to focus on the recording, and your eyes should be on personal meanings as well as the second answer. For example, if Fish Hawk's recording is playing, you have to remember about Kingfisher as well, because when you're focusing on the personal meanings, they are saying some things on the recording, and then they are mentioning Kingfisher. You have to see that your option has been gone. You weren't able to actually find the answer, so you should not waste your time, and you should be clear enough about that the 26th answer has gone by, and they are now talking about this 27th question's answer. So apart from focusing on the question that they are on the recording, you have to focus on the other question's name as well. You have to keep the name in mind, that if they are mentioning the name around, it means that you haven't found the answer for 25th question. It may have gone by, it may have passed by your attention. So you have to forget about that, and you have to focus on Kingfisher's answer. So these were some simple tips and tricks for you. These types of questions in listening module are not that much tough. Sometimes you would get phrases would get a little bit lengthy, but the same trick that I have told you, you can apply that also. You can find keywords on those specific phrases that will help you out on understanding which one is the correct option or which one is a trap. And I'm telling you guys, you have to practice, and I'm focusing on practicing a lot, because the only thing that you can do to perfect all of these listening types is practicing. There is nothing else for that. As much as you practice, you would expect higher bands. You would expect higher bands as much as you practice. Your practice will determine how much marks will you get, how much scores will you get, how much bands will you get in IELTS exam. So that's the only thing that you're going to focus.